Welcome to Flipping Houses for Rookies, the only podcast that shows you how to take back your financial freedom and live the American dream by becoming a real estate investor. Without the banks, without the big wigs, and without the realtor's nonsense. This isn't about selling you coaching or some get-rich-quick scheme. It's about opening your eyes to the possibilities so you can make real chunks of dough, buy your life back, and become a free American. With over 400 episodes aired, we're delivering everything you need to know to find deals, talk to sellers, structure deals, and win big. It's time to take action, change your mindset, and claim what's yours. Real estate is the key to your freedom, and we're here to show you the way. Subscribe now and catch our latest episodes on YouTube at Flipping Houses for Rookies, because your financial freedom starts today. Now, here are your hosts, Bill and Pete.
All right, here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies. Good morning, Peter.
Morning, Bill, and hello to everybody.
Podcast number 448 is today's agenda, and here is the title: How to Get Paid to Learn Extraordinary, Creative Real Estate Deals Guaranteed. Here's a description. Are you a rookie drowning in guru garbage and all the credit card debt you whacked up trying to understand creative real estate so you can make a deal and pay all of that debt? Then today is your day. We plan to wisen you up to the newest and absolute guaranteed way to not sink your hard-earned money into some promised training and get zero results. This step-by-step blueprint is your way out of the trap. Now it's time for you to get paid to learn creative real estate and actually dominate your market. And the only way you can do this is by learning the biggest secret of how to take money out of your deals and not put monies into them. Your path to wealth lies within the 6 stages of creative real estate and how you use them for your success of money now, money monthly, and money later. So if you are a rookie looking to ditch that soul-crushing 9-to-5er, build wealth, and get paid to learn secrets the gurus don't want you to know, you simply cannot afford to miss this episode, so you stop doing it wrong.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, so let's do it. Go ahead.
No, it's just stop doing it wrong.
Yeah. So let's do a little bit of housekeeping. So I would like to make an announcement today on podcast number 448. It's starting, Peter. Bill's world is starting to go outside of Bill's office walls.
What does that mean?
So in the description today, I actually put a link for you to go sign up for my new free newsletter, which is a weekly newsletter. It is where I will be communicating to people. I used to have an email list, and I still do, but I don't use it very much because I think it got burnt out or whatever happened. I'm not sure what happened. But, well, actually, I do know what happened. Email changed, so things changed. So this is my new way of communicating to my posse. So if you go there in the link, you can get it for free. And I will deliver an email to your inbox every Saturday morning with nothing but tips and raw data on creative real estate for free. If you don't want to go into the inbox, into your description to get the link, the URL is www.creativerealestatedealology.com.
Dealology.
Yep,
all right.
It's creativerealestatedealology.com. So head on over there, get subscribed, and once a week you will get a free newsletter from me with in-depth secrets about creative real estate. Also, I'm going to be releasing a new book about my 6 strategies, and I suggest you get on my newsletter because I'm going to release it there first. And I have a couple more books in the hopper that I plan on doing. So this is the operator's manual, although we're not calling it that. I've changed the name a couple times, and I think you're going to really like it because it has absolutely my 30 years of being a creative real estate investor culled down into a couple pages of a 6-inch by 9-inch book, and an absolute owner's guide on how you can build a creative real estate business and be successful. Okay, so get on the newsletter, get registered for the free newsletter. Like I said, the link's in the description, and from there you will be guided as soon as I launch the book, which is not going to be very long from now. I'm waiting for the final version of the cover, and I have a mastermind group to go to next week. Once I go through that, then I'm going to get ready to start launching the book. So it's not far off. All right. So enough of that. Make sure you like us. Make sure you subscribe to us wherever you're watching us or listening to us. If you do that, you'll make everybody happy, including us. All right. So ready for the podcast?
Here we go.
All right, Pete. And to all of our listeners, welcome to the world of creative real estate. It's a new world. It's a new age. We are turning the old system upside down, Peter. I have been doing that, and I've been kind of releasing bits and pieces of it, but today it's official. We are going to flip it on its head. Okay?
Well, somebody's got to.
Yeah.
Right?
The other one's not working so good these days. Imagine having a new creative real estate system that guarantees you only take money out of your deals and not put money into deals. And you could retire early with our new leads, deals, cash booster, and secret blueprint. Imagine that. Now, you might ask why this is different from everything else you've seen, which is a fair question.
Yeah.
Well, here's why. Here's why. Everyone else, everyone except you and I right now, everyone, this is not a generality. Everyone except for you and me. Okay? Talk about the FREP system, which is flipping real estate property. Which means houses have to be pretty and use the formulas like location, location, location to do deals. Or they need to be able to have deep discounts for the ugly houses.
Yep.
So you penalize the seller for having a house that's not in good shape, right?
Yep.
And the other thing is they replace the money, which we don't do. But not here, Peter. No more. We use the FRED system. FRED means flipping real estate documents, right?
That's
that
right.
Control the property. Which means turning any seller from having a liability to having an asset. They can now get 35% more than average market value. Okay? And make tens of thousands of dollars, and often, depending on the price of the house, hundreds of thousands of dollars over market value in their deal, in their pocket. So I'm going to pause for a second to let that settle in, because some may not believe us, and I'm going to cover that, but I'm going to let you talk about it because you talk to the sellers every day. So,
Well, when people think about real estate, they go at it a certain way, like sell it. But if you had a golden goose, would you have it for Sunday dinner? Or would you hang on to it for 3 years?
okay.
What more would you like me to say?
All right. So basically, what happens is we come out of a transaction, or we start with a transaction, which I'm going to cover all this in a couple minutes in the 6 steps.
Mm-hmm.
But we offer them 35% more than market value in our software system, and my software system, Creative REI Reply. We actually released a few weeks ago. Not only do we get you leads, we skip trace them. We put them in your account and we text them for you. Now, the second text we send them is an offer. And it's an offer that's 35% more than market value. And of course, people are going to be skeptical. And of course, there's always going to be like the people that say this is a scam. But with the new tools that we're having, we're getting soon ready to release a new tool where we actually have a AI agent called Reba. It stands for something, but I don't remember what it is. Reba is actually going to text and actually do outbound calls to those sellers and explain the offer to them in our Creative REI Replay system. So the idea is all the pre-qualifying and all of the ugliness that most people hate, like cold calling, is going to be done by a robot. Now, Peter, the best part about this robot, it doesn't have feelings. It doesn't have fear. It doesn't have procrastination.
Yeah.
It doesn't have all the back off us humans have on talking to another human and actually feel like these things happen to us. Robots don't have that.
No, I actually first started noticing that in just the texting.
Yeah.
When somebody would would give it like a jerk answer, and where you and I would go, yeah, well, we'll screw you too. The text, because it's it's a robot, goes, oh, I understand how you feel about that, but have you considered this? Right. And it's very polite about it. Yeah. And after you read a few of those, you go, I suppose I should talk to people nicer too. Right. So it's our crazy way to like learn how to be more polite and calm down and just handle the person. If it doesn't work, say bye-bye.
Exactly.
No reason to get your panties in a wad. And that's from the texting. Imagine the AI who's talking to them.
So the point is that once you get through all of this stuff you're talking about, it leaves you at the doorstep of a person that wants to talk turkey or talk real about their deal. They're interested.
Yep.
And Peter, I don't know if you recognized what it is that is my agenda here, because I tend to be the leading force on the on ideas. Not all of them. Sean has been amazing. His idea was the offer blaster. But full circle for me is when we get back to the days of sellers calling us.
Yes.
Because
somebody's saying, can you call me?
Yes, sellers calling us is a different conversation than us calling the seller.
It's night and day, chasing people and tracking them down, but have them say, call me. When can you call me? I'm here now. Can you call me now? It's crazy.
Right. Yeah, I don't like chasing. I don't chase anybody.
No, it's not ideal.
All right. So now the next question is what's in it for you if you do this deal? Right? So what's in it for you is now that you have proven to the seller with math, because math does not lie, every calculator is the same. So as long as you provide the numbers, the correct numbers, to any seller, you can show them how they can make 35% over market value, because it's just plain math that most don't know or don't talk about.
Yep.
Right? Once they see the math and they're on board, they sign a one-page document that's non-evasive. It's an easy document. We call it a memorandum, right? And that turns into an actual option agreement, which is a one-page document. And you consummate, and consummate means to make it real or official. You consummate the deal with either $1 or $100. I prefer you don't do more than $100. Now you have a FRED system in operation. You're flipping real estate documents because this document that you just paid $1 or $100 for, you're going to sell it to a buyer for 5% market value of the property, right? So
Yep.
I was writing a sales letter yesterday. Hang on one second. I want to go see if I can find it. Give me 1 second because I am going to break it down. Here we go. So here's what I wrote in the sales letter about this. So 5% of a house worth $100,000 is $5,000 to you in this transaction.
Sure.
5% of a $200,000 is $10,000 to you in this transaction. 5% of a $300,000 house is $15,000 to you in the transaction. 5% of a house worth $400,000 is $20,000 to you in this transaction. 5% of a house that's worth $500,000 is $25,000. Now here's the interesting thing: the average cost or the average price of a house in America is $419,000.
Right.
So that means the average deal that we're talking about is a $20,000 deal. So you're going to draft a document, a one-page document. Give the seller anywhere between $1 and $100 to consummate it, to make it legal. And then you're going to post it on a few websites. And you're going to, within 30 days, find a buyer that will buy that agreement from you, that document from you, for 5% of the house. In this particular case, it's anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000, depending on the price of the house. And oh yeah, by the way, the most interesting thing in this system is if you have houses in your backyard or where your farm market is, or where you're actually going to be trading, your trading market, that are $800,000, 5% of $800,000 is $40,000 for one deal. So imagine someone listening to us right now is in that market and learned how to do this and did 2 deals a year, which is like kind of like really laziness. That's $80,000. That would replace your job for 2 deals a year. See? All you're doing is you're using the FRED system, flipping real estate documents. You're not flipping the properties, right? And if you don't think this is real, excuse me, I got a cough the last couple of days. I don't know what it is. And if you don't think this is real, check this out. Isn't this what realtors do? Get a document signed, giving the agent permission to go find a buyer, and then show up at the closing for their 5% commission.
Yep.
Except the realtor is asking the seller to pay his or her proceeds from the seller's profits. Right? And I don't want to get into this, but with the National Association of Realtors lawsuits, they got sued for 1.7. They lost a lawsuit for 1.78 billion and settled for $418 million. So they must have done something wrong if they're paying $418 million in court fees or whatever. They must have done something wrong. Right?
Yep.
So the point is this: nowadays, first of all, people don't go to the realtors like they used to. right?
Mm-hmm.
And second of all, because the commissions are split up now, why can't we do the same thing? And the most important fact is, we don't get the 5% from the seller, we get the 5% from our buyer. We make the buyer pay for it. And again, because of the NAR lawsuit, this is becoming more and more common knowledge because the realtors are doing the same thing.
Yep, it's true.
And you know that last year when I was down in Florida on my sabbatical, I met a lot of people from other countries. One of which was in Germany, another was in Europe, somewhere in Europe. I forgot. I think it was Ireland or something like that. And they both told me that in their countries, this is how they do real estate. The buyer pays the commissions. The seller doesn't. America is the only one that does that. Right? So, so when we're doing these deals, it's beneficial to not only show because that's part of our 35% is we saving that money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's quite a bit of money, right?
Closing costs, sure.
So I ask, what's holding our listeners back from earning while they're learning? Right? And the answer is because I don't have a blueprint. So I wrote that blueprint. I've taken my 30 plus years experience and I put it in my new book, and it's going to be released soon. So make sure you get onto the newsletter, right? It's called creativerealestatedealology.com. Get on the newsletter, because in the newsletter is for free, and I will be releasing it there first to my newsletter participants. The newsletter comes out every Saturday morning, and actually the first handful of chapters are all about the first handful of newsletters are about the first handful of chapters in the book. So they work together. All right, so one of the questions I get a lot of time, Peter, because I'm on the phone with people all the time and doing whatever, you know that I'm kind of pretty active in what I do, is why now? So why would anybody want to start this now? So what do you think about that? Why now? I have a list, but I want to hear your opinion first.
Well, I don't have a prepared list, but people always think there's a good time, a bad time, a no time, but any time is better than no time. And when you look back, people always say, gee, I wish I did this before. But there's a lot happening right now. I talk to people on the phone a lot, and they don't want to work with realtors. They see the problems. I saw a post the other day that the future is AI, technology, and no middlemen, like no realtors. You know, I don't know how true that is, but they're saying it. You keep saying it, it becomes real because people go, okay, sure. So there's a lot going on. Trouble with the realtors. The economy's shifting. We can't, we've been in a bubble. And days on market, it's starting to change. I see a lot more expired listings. The houses didn't sell. There's a lot going on. Right. But what's your list? Because you put some time and effort thinking it through.
Yeah, you're 100% correct, and that's part of my list. But the first thing is the pandemic changed everything. I mean, the first thing that happened with real estate's change, the actual change is, I don't want you to come visit my house because I might die after you leave, because you might have COVID.
Yeah.
And I don't want to end up in the hospital dead because you were in my house. So I'm not going to sell my house. So it started that way. And then it got innovative after that, with people like, I know because I was on the front lines with that stuff, and we started, because I always called out of area owners. In other words, the tax bill was mailed to a different address than the property address. So for 20 years, 25 years, I used that list. What we did is we started using a tool called Text Magic, which is still around, and we started texting people with Text Magic. We would upload a list, and we would do a broad text blast.
Yeah.
And people would answer you individually, and we would start conversations. It was manual. This is how Creative REI Replay started, right, was with Text Magic. And Text Magic was introduced to me by one of my coaching clients at the time, Tim, who's actually one of my private lenders now. He actually introduced it to me way back when, right? So the pandemic started this change of real estate, because what was happening is the realtors were just shut down because they couldn't show houses, they couldn't do open houses, they couldn't do their regular parlor tricks and to sell a house. Right? So that started.
And their game is actually FREP, the properties themselves. See the properties. And we're talking about not the properties, but the financing, the paperwork. We're not living in the house, so I don't care what the paint color is. We're not living in it. It's a business type of thing.
So the second thing is, as we spoke about the NAR lawsuit, right, which my realtor that I'm dealing with right now, who's was trained by me as a coaching client and worked for me for about 6 months, decided to go rogue and become a realtor, and he's now a broker. And he loves it, and he's good at it. But he sat in my office here not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, and we had a conversation, and I asked him how things are, and he's like, he's got this whole story about how, in the 50s there were not enough houses and the population keeps coming up and there's a shortage of houses. So I said, I just asked him one question: is it a shortage of houses, or is it a shortage of houses on the MLS? And he stopped like I had just stripped naked and I was standing in front of him. I mean, he gave me like this stare, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because
that's his world.
Right.
That's his world, and that's their world. So they see their world. They don't see anything around it.
Right. Which is what's happening. So what's happening is there's less properties going on the MLS, so they're spreading the word that there's a shortage of deals when there's not. Right? There's just as many deals. Now, granted, there is a problem that we have in our industry, and this number keeps changing because I hear from different numbers, but I've heard as low as 23 or 24% and as high as 38% that hedge funds are buying properties.
Yes.
Like BlackRock and all those big companies, right? So
there
is that in the background, that is a way. As a matter of fact, one of my coaching clients right now is trying to sell to a hedge fund broker. They have multiple hedge funds that buy properties, and it's pretty interesting what they pay for them. But the point is that changed how we sell real estate, right? Or how we acquire and how we sell it. It started in March of 2020. I mean, I was getting 150 leads a week, and they announced COVID, and literally 10 days later, I had 28 leads. And they weren't 28 leads; they were 28 people that just didn't take their ads down, right? And they weren't even leads, because when I tried to contact them, I couldn't get a hold of them.
Yeah, some for sale by owners, expired listings, that kind of thing.
Right. The next thing that I would say is why now, is because what you just said about AI. So, fortunately or unfortunately, AI takes the stupid and the ignorant and makes them smart and brilliant, including me, because there's some things that I'm just real stupid about. Right? I'm good at real estate, but I'm not good at everything I do in my life. Right? And AI has allowed two things to happen. One is speed. In other words, the way I use AI every day in my life. I never thought I would come to that. I never thought I would believe in it. I never thought it was a thing. But what I've done is I've actually replaced employees with AI agents. I've replaced software that I pay, hundreds of dollars a month with AI agents. So what I do is I generate an agent. I train them much like a virtual assistant. And I actually have that agent do the work for me. And then I monitor it, every day, every couple of days, whatever, and I monitor these agents. And the point is that that's coming fast. That's a tsunami.
Oh, yeah.
When we had the current president of the United States saying that they're going to they've raised $550 billion to enhance AI so we can get ahead of China. You know, they got that whole Seek thing, which is a bunch of bullshit, but most people don't realize it. Right?
The what? The what thing?
Seek, Super Seek, or Seek. They came out with their own version of the OpenAI.
Oh, in Russia, yeah.
No, in China.
China, yeah, China.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is the time is now, because it's never been this simple to get into creative real estate. I mean, when I started, Robert Allen had a book. And who was the guy that I bought from in the middle of the night?
Carlton Sheets.
Carlton Sheets had a midnight course that was 300 and change, right? And that was it. And back then it was like, when you said you were going to do, it wasn't called creative real estate. It was money. It was no money down real estate.
Yeah, sure.
When you talked about that, sellers were like, you know, oh, what's the matter? You don't have the money. You don't have the capital.
Yep.
Right? Let me just to that point. Let me sidetrack for a second.
I still got the book in my bookcase, and I don't know about Carlton Sheets. He might be at the bottom of some drawer someplace. But yeah, I looked at those too.
Let me read you a couple of things here. This is a sales letter that I'm writing for my new coaching program. Right? So just a couple of things I wrote in here, but it's not the main point. So don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more skills. Don't wish for fewer challenges. Wish for more wisdom. Right? So what I'm asking people to do today is either modify their dreams or magnify their skills. That's what I'm asking people to do. Right? Because it's different. It's just different.
Yeah.
Right? Because mainstream media has allowed creative real estate as a normal transaction. Right? And I proved that with dozens of podcasts.
Yeah.
So it's not a fad. It's not a get rich quick scheme. It's something that if you study, you can retire early. When I mean retire early, I usually mean 5 years. Right? I mean, it could be done in 3 years. Depends how aggressive. It depends how much money you have. You can do it in a year if you want. Like I said, 2 deals that we're talking about with a 5% profit to you on an $800,000 house is $40,000 each, and that's 2 deals is $80,000. That replaces most people's income. The average income in the United States right now is $67,000.
Yep.
Right. All right. So most important, until now, there's not been someone like me that has 30 plus years of research and development with today's tools to create the system I'm talking about, which is retire early, right? With my leads, deals, cash booster, and secret methods blueprint, right? So when you read the book, you'll become a believer because the book says it all. Right? So let me tell you about the 6-step process. This is in the book. This is what the book is based on. So let's go over the 6 steps for the rest of the podcast because we have about 30 more minutes. So we have time to go over these. Okay. So you can see how it's going to work for you and why what I'm saying. So I'm going to prove to you right now what I'm saying is correct.
Right. And my 2 cents, just a general thing, when I was at my first Kiyosaki weekend with the wife and came home like, where the hell do we start? What the heck? I called you, and in like a half an hour, I was like, okay, now I know what to do. Right. And that was a long time ago. You didn't even have the 30 years experience yet. Right. But just that's the point. That's one big point. That's not the only point. But for me, that's a huge point. To just not be confused and know, oh, I do this, I do this, I do this. Because confused is like no action.
Correct.
So that's just my
first
2
thing
cents.
I want to say about the stages is I am about halfway through the process. But the reason why I'm writing a sales letter is because I'm going to give folks the opportunity to get weekly lessons that could take a year. There's 52 lessons. But you're making money while you're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like you need to wait a year. And the lessons are not very long.
Yeah.
But the point of this is that each one of these stages I give to you, which are 6 stages, and it's the way you should develop your creative real estate career in this order. Each one of them will be certified. So just like realtors are certified as a realtor in their county, we are going to start certifying creative real estate investors and standardizing the process of how to do it. Okay, and that's my intention.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
That's awesome.
So here's stage 1. It's called the Explorer. Okay? I'm just going to read it to you, and then we'll chat about it, and then we'll go on to the next one. Okay?
Sure.
So start your real estate journey with no risk while you learn the ropes. In this stage, you'll test, not invest. You're going to test, not invest, by focusing on sandwich lease option transfers, which we call slot deals, where you secure an option agreement for less than $100 and the right to lease without landlord obligations, so you can sell this agreement for 5% of the property value to a buyer, usually within 30 days. This allows you to test the market, negotiate with sellers, and find buyers, all while minimizing your upfront investment. It's the perfect stage to learn while you earn, sharpen your skills, and start stacking up chunks of dough. So, the thing that's missing in creative real estate is test before you invest. See, without that, it's a risk. So just like we talked about a week or two ago in earlier podcasts, like stockbroker guys do this, right? They do dry, they call it dry investing, or dry, what is the word? I guess dry stock purchases. So you go in and you learn whatever you're going to learn, and as a belief system in yourself, you pick stocks and you write them down in a notebook or wherever, and you monitor those stocks for a day or two, or for a week or two, or whatever your investment strategy is. And let's say you pick, ABC stock, and it's trading at $400 a share, and you say, I'm going to buy 10 shares, right, for $4,000. You would monitor those shares for a day or two, or a week or two, or a month or two, depending on your urgency to make money, and you would prove to yourself that your strategy was viable, and that you weren't going to lose your $4,000. And when you do this enough times, you'll build confidence in your decision making. Stage 1, the Explorer, is that stage. We're doing this with real estate because we're using an option agreement with a lease attached to it. And this is where we tell our seller that if they wait 36 months and collect all their expenses for the property, so they become the bank, they're changing it from a liability, them paying the payments, to collecting payments for all the expenses, and if they wait 36 months, the buyer will come in and give them up to 35% more for the market value. So a house that's being sold for $300,000, if they wait and use this system that we have, it will show them how to get through cash flow and principal reduction and appreciation and depreciation and closing cost savings. It'll show them how they can get up to $400,000 for a $300,000 house because they waited. And because we're swelling the Greek glands And as Alex Hermosi says, the offer is so good, they feel stupid saying no.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. And that's what we do in stage one. We're exploring how, because the truth of the matter is that the money from every transaction comes from the buyers.
Yeah.
So we need to test the buyers and find out what they want to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is like finding a bunch of buyers that have been on the desert for 3 months with no food and no water and saying to them, hey, you guys want my McDonald's lunch? Give me $500 and I'll give it to you. Mm. And they would do that because they're starving.
Yep.
Right? So why wouldn't you want to do this in real estate? And nobody's talking about this. Nobody says this. Nobody has this test before you invest mentality. Mm.
Right. I've seen that. I just talked to somebody the other day, this week, some kind of a newbie real estate investor. She did a renovation. She tried to sell the house for $369,000, but she owes $364,000. Yeah. So I sent you an email. Just any way around this, there isn't. Yeah. She's in trouble. She just did it wrong. She should have started at the beginning. She started in the middle, and she's over her head. Okay. Don't do it.
Yep. She didn't test before she invested, and she's got $370,000 invested. Not even her money; it's what she owes somebody else.
It's borrowed.
So you know what that means? She doesn't not only lose the house, but anything else that she has, any other asset, is contaminated now. Mm. Her other bank accounts, her other equity, her other properties, her 401ks, whatever she's got is now infected.
Yep.
Because she didn't test before she invested. All right, so Peter, the Explorer is all about doing a 3-year lease option. Mm-hmm. But not everybody's going to do that.
Nope.
Which brings us to stage 2, which is the cash extractor. This is where you become the cash extractor. So you want to extract cash for your seller and give them that benefit.
Yep.
Right? So here's what that says. Refine your ability to control properties by matching buyers to sellers. In this stage, you're testing non-investing by learning negotiating abilities to secure a minimum 5% discount and making at least $5,000 per deal by connecting buyers with sellers, much like a realtor. You're focusing on satisfying all the cash seller. You're focusing on satisfying the all-cash seller who won't consider a terms deal. Providing a solution that works for both parties. This stage is all about maximizing your cash now potential through deal making and creating a pipeline for consistent monthly cash flow while still testing before you're investing. Mm-hmm. So if you have a $300,000 house or a $400,000 house, because the average price is $400,000, you tell the seller, instead of giving the realtor 5%, why don't you give me that 5%? And with the realtor, you're going to give them a fee. With us, you're going to give us a profit. So instead of signing an option agreement for $400,000, 5% of $400,000 is $20,000. You sign an option agreement with us for $380,000. Mm-hmm. We don't go sell it for $400,000 because there's no
upside benefit.
Yeah, right. There's
value add.
Yeah, there's no value add, right?
Yeah, there's no benefit over other $400,000 houses in the neighborhood. We always like to be a little bit under on a cash sale if we can, under the median or something. So how much will we sell this one for?
So we add $5,000 for our profit, and we put the market on the house for $385,000. The buyer gets attracted to us because they're paying $15,000 less money, right? Mm-hmm. And we don't need a license to do this. To me, every realtor in the world should do this. In Creative REI Reply, the difference between us and them is they're under the NAR rules, the National Association of Realtor rules, right? They have to be licensed. Here, we don't need to be licensed, and they could be a realtor and do exactly what we're talking about. The difference is, instead of using a listing agreement with their sellers, they're using an option agreement with their sellers. Everything else is the same. Mm-hmm. Everything else is the same. So why wouldn't realtors want to come into our Creative REI Replay system and do this and go in multiple states or multiple counties and actually have boots on the ground and have divisions of their real estate? And here's the most important thing I want to say about this, because I'm going to move on, because I could talk about this for another hour and we might do that, right?
Yeah.
Think of it this way. The fastest way to make money in real estate is with Dave Lindahl's methodology. Emerging markets. Emerging market means that the government is giving tax reliefs for investors to come in and buy distraught properties. Emerging markets means that the employment rate is raising 2% or more, and people are coming in for jobs and need properties. Emerging markets means the government is proactive, meaning the local government is proactive on attracting citizens with money and looking for a place to live. So why wouldn't anybody, especially realtors, want to follow emerging markets and get on that wave and not need a license and not need any of that? Just use our software. We give you the leads and we do everything we're talking about, and you could be a kick-ass realtor without having a license. Stage 3. Stage 3 is where you become an income expert. Okay? So here you're going to take your cash flow to the next level with money now, money monthly, money later. Realize stage 1 and stage 2 are just money now deals. Right? But here,
that's a good way to start, though. That's
right.
A great way to start, It's like, I need money, but how much did those cost?
Nothing.
$100, $50?
Said $10, yeah.
Yeah.
So take your cash flow to the next level with money now, money monthly, money later deals, where you manage the finances rather than the properties. In this stage, you're still testing, not investing, and working directly with long-term buyer relationships, much like a banker would. Ensuring consistent income and helping buyers work towards homeownership. You're focused on securing a minimum of 15% discount from your seller and maintaining a steady 20 to 25% monthly cash flow, while testing your ability to structure and manage financing for these deals over time, while testing your market without investing or risk. Right? So one of the things that we don't talk enough about, and I'm going to talk about it in stage 4, is the most popular way that we sell properties is on a lease option. So wouldn't it make sense, before we go buy a property, we test the lease option aspect and see if people want it and how they pay and how you set things up and how do you do the paperwork. So what we're going to do here is we're going to get a lease option with our seller, and we're going to make sure we have 15% worth of equity and 20 or 25% worth of cash flow. We're going to stay in the deal, and we're going to sublease it to our buyer, and we're going to test it and see how it works. Which brings us to stage 4, the dealologist. Here, we're going to build wealth through strategic deal structuring in this stage. So how many people I've been training and coaching about deal structuring and the hierarchy and which one do you do and loan to value and equity, and it's actually stage 4. It was too steep of a gradient to teach the new people that first.
Yeah.
They needed to go through the first 3 stages and practice with their deals first. Get used to their buyers, who's going to pay them, and get used to how to structure deals so they can present it to a seller. What better person to teach you how to make an offer to a seller than the buyer who's going to actually pay you?
Well, that's the question. Anybody that's worried about real estate, or anytime I've asked somebody, hey, can you lend me money? You want to make some money? We're going to buy a house. He goes, well, what if it doesn't sell?
Right.
They were, what if? Well, that's the buyer. So you figure that part out, then you know what to do.
So in stage 4, the dealologist, we're going to build wealth through strategic deal structuring in this stage. You're mastering techniques like seller financing, subject to deals, land contracts, wraparound mortgages, even fix and flip if you choose.
Mm.
Learning how to create profitable deals with minimal upfront investment. I'm going to come back to that. This is where you stop testing and start investing. As you gain control of properties and the deed itself, all while using only a small amount of your capital, which you should have, because if you're getting chunks of dough, 10, 20, 30 grand from stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3, you should have some of your own money now. So now you could take that 10 grand and invest it in a subject to deal and not need a private lender.
Yep.
Right? You'll hone your skills in deal structuring and learn how to leverage creative financing for long-term wealth growth. So what I'm saying is you're going to start by testing your investing by not paying for the whole property, just paying a percentage. You want to do a flip, you're going to go get a private lender. You're not putting up money. You'll put up $10,000 for the whatever they require to get. But you have that money now because you got paid during stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. You got paid to learn the deals. You got paid to do the deals because they're walk-away deals. They're throwaway deals. If you screw up and you don't like them, you can either punt them off to another investor or another buyer, or you can walk away. There's no legal ramifications on any one of the first three stages.
Mm-hmm.
But now you don't want to go and put all the money in. You don't want to buy a $200,000 house like your girl there, $369,000 house she owes $360,000. You don't want to do that. What you want to do is you want to do subject to deals, owner finance deals where they want 5 or 10% down, right? You want to do these kind of deals where you have a little bit of money in it. But here's the magic, Peter. Here's the absolute magic. Mm-hmm. Because of stage 3, the income expert, you now know what the buyer wants, and you now know how you can sell it because you already tested it. So when you get this subject to property, you're not stuck with it because you're going to know how much the buyer's going to want to pay. You're going to know how much the average rent is going to be, what district to be in, the school system. You're going to have known all that already because you tested it. So now when you take a subject to deal and put a deed in your name, you already have the experience of being able to sell it. You know what the buyer wants. So when you're talking to your seller, you know what to say. You're not guessing. You don't have to rehearse a whole bunch of stuff because you talk to enough buyers to know what they want. Because you talk to buyers in the Explorer, in stage 1, you talk to buyers in stage 2, the cash extractor, and you talk to buyers in stage 3, the income expert. You know what the buyer's willing to do. So now when you're talking about your subject to deal or your owner finance deal, you're very laser focused on, well, this is what I can do. Here are my boundaries because I did this deal and I had this person and you have all the experience you need to talk to the seller. Mm-hmm. Which brings us to stage 5, the portfolio expander. Here, you will take your real estate business to the next level by using private lenders, your own capital, or an occasional bank loan to fully finance property purchases. This is a stage where you no longer rely on partial amounts of creative financing methods. You're committing to the full purchase price. With confidence built from stage 1 through 4, you're now strategically investing and scaling your portfolio. You'll refine your system, build your team, and focus on long-term financial strength and stable and sustainable growth. Because you already tested all the other things. You already know. Mm-hmm. So now you're ready to go in hardcore.
Besides the testing, what I like about it is each stage, you learn a few things. You cannot do it all at once. It is overwhelming. Right. You learn just a few things. Then you learn, first stage, you learn how to buy the house and sell it on a slot deal. Second one, you learn how to actually sell the thing. Right. Third one, it just keeps growing. You learn a few things each time. So you build up to it knowledge-wise and certainty and confidence-wise. Right. With less worry
and risk,
because
risk-wise. because each one you're taking on more risk as you get more
Right.
wisdom, right?
Well, you don't have any deeds at all in the first 3 deals, so there is no risk.
Right.
So I had a house just myself. I did one on my own a while back, and it was a foreclosure. So $300,000, but I had $100 in it, and the market was just kind of screwy. It didn't work out. I had nothing to lose. I could sleep at night. It's like, if it doesn't work out, it's fine. These people were 2 years behind in the mortgage, so it was so over leveraged. I gave it a shot to help them out. Didn't cost me anything, so I was okay. I wasn't like, oh my God,
How much
if I
did you
bought
learn?
it, I'd be in trouble.
You learned more than $100.
Oh, gee. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so stage 6, my favorite one. I intentionally named it this way, and I hope I don't have issues with that later on. But I call
What'd you call it? What'd you call it? My favorite one?
Yeah, I called it
What?
the Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
Achieve true real estate freedom by systemizing and automating your business. In this stage, you've built a self-sustaining operation that allows you to step back from day-to-day tasks while still pulling significant income. Like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, you're orchestrating the entire process, controlling everything from behind the scenes. You're hands off, but your business continues to generate passive income, allowing you to reap the rewards of your earlier efforts and investments. Total freedom has been accomplished, and you can do what it is that means more to you in life. And I put that in there because my passion is real estate. I would never want to do. I mean, I have some other things I'm doing, like I'm an author and I'm a copywriter, but I'm always going to do real estate. You don't want that.
I don't mind it. I don't mind at all.
But you have other interests, is what my point
Yeah.
is. So if you got to that point, you might invest in some other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
But I've always liked real estate. 40 years ago, so it's been a thing for me. I never got into it then. It took a while, but yeah.
So does this make sense, this process?
It makes a lot of sense on a lot of levels. Right. And I think you just explained it, but to me, the summary is there's so much wisdom there, but it's in sequence. It's not overwhelming. You make money as you go without having to spend much. Then you wind up having some money to do those deals where you might need a little bit, bit by bit. It's just crazy. It's so well put together.
So the book is 14 chapters. There's 12 chapters that are the meat, right? The meat and the potatoes. What I've done is there's a chapter in the book each month. So so what I call the leads, deals, cash. I forget the name. I haven't written it enough. Leads, deals, cash, booster, and secret blueprints. You do this. It's kind of unusual, Peter. But each month is a chapter. So the weekly lessons are like, read the chapter, answer these 10 questions, do 3 essays, and go into our group and post, I just did it. So there's accountability. Then week 2, you read the chapter again, new unit at a time, and then answer 10 questions, do 3 essays. So you're reading the chapter actually 4 times, because the amount of times over the material generates certainty. And each of the questions that are asked, the 40 questions you're going to answer, are all different types of questions, so you really make this your own. It's not a memorization drill, it's a learning drill. The idea is to have it in your head as if it was experience. And then you go into the next chapter, the next month, right? And you get graded and scored on each one. And then the first couple months you're not going to get certified, but when you get to the stages, the 6 stages, once you pass, you go through the month and you go in the test, you've got to get at least 80% on the answers to your questions. before you can pass, right? Once you get that, then at the end of the month, you get a certification saying that you are an explorer. Stage 1 explorer completion. And then when you go through the next one, you get a certificate saying that you're a stage 2 cache extractor. And you go all the way through the 6 stages until you get a final certificate that you're, which I haven't named yet, I have to do that, which you're going to be a master creative real estate investor. I'll have to name that. I didn't think of it until just now, right? So, in the process of publishing my book, which is not done yet, I'm telling you to go get my free newsletter, which is www.creativerealestatedealology.com, or click on the link inside of the description and get on the free newsletter. And when the book comes out, you will hear of it, and you'll get a chance to go grab the book, right? Once you sign up for the free newsletter and I publish the book, you'll not only get that, but I've invented or created 4 tools that will help you in your creative real estate endeavor. One is an objection handling tool, so you can go. There's a book that I wrote, and there's videos to show you how to handle objections for every deal structure. Right? So there's objections for slot deals, there's objections for lease option deals, objections for subject to deals, and objections for owner finance deals.
That's great having it broken down like that.
And there's separate objections, and there are rebuttals that you can use when you're talking to sellers. And there's actually a book, like a little PDF book that I wrote, so you can actually have it on your desk if you need it. That's one tool. Another tool is I gotta remember. Hang on a second. So another tool is, because I'm skipping one. So give me 1 second. Another tool is a seller call auditor tool.
Right? A what? Seller what?
Seller call auditor tool.
Oh.
So when you call your sellers, you can upload your call into this software. And the AI actually looks at it and then tells you how you did on your call. And scores you on how you did on your call. So like with Creative REI Reply, we record all the calls. You just download the call and upload it into the tool. And then find out where you did better. So not only does it critique you, but it tells you how you can improve. Okay? And
nice.
Then the third tool is the ability to put your address into a piece of software, and it gives you a comparable report, just like a realtor would do.
Nice.
Except you don't need to have a realtor. And then the last tool is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week support system that I built with all my materials in it. That's my own AI, so you ask it any question that you would ask me, and it will answer it just as if it was me. And all those tools, once you get into the newsletter, you can buy for like $27 a month. So all of that is being launched today. I'm not supposed to tell you about the tools because you're supposed to figure that out when you go through the launch. But if you want them, you get them. If you don't, that's totally fine. I'm just telling you that all that stuff is there, right? And then the course on the certifications will come. That'll probably be another 3 or 4 weeks before I release that. That'll probably be more like in March of 2025. Right? So the course is I have it written, or I have at least 9 months of it written. I have to finish it, but I got to get the newsletter published and the book published, and I want to get those started first, so that we can start getting people ready for their certifications. In the end, the other thing too is when you join the newsletter, there's an association, a Creative Real Estate Association that you'll be part of, and we have it's my own version. It's not Facebook. It's my own version. So there's nobody else in there. There's no ads or nothing in there. It's just us. So you can enter into the group and actually have support, have like-minded people in that group to go ask questions to, or be part of, or be involved in. Right? So there's an actual association, just like Realtors Association. There's going to be an actual association with other creative real estate investors in that association. Whew. That was a lot, huh?
Well, that was about the last 10 years of working with you, yes.
Yeah, if people knew how hard it was for me to get to this point, they would probably say, they would crown me.
Bill, you're going to be an overnight success someday.
Yeah, exactly. After 10 years of trying.
Yeah.
Anyway, so thank you for watching our podcast. Make sure you go in the description, click on the link. One email gets you into the newsletter. You get a free newsletter every single Saturday morning, once a week, on creative real estate deals, how to get them. I definitely will talk about the 6 stages in there, and it's not a huge newsletter. It's 1,200 words. It's meant to read in 5 minutes or 7 minutes. It's not like this profound thing. That will be later if I decide that I want. If others want a deep dive, then I will. That'll be more like $100 a month, and I'll print it and mail it to you. But I'm not there yet. We'll see what happens. Right now, I want to get the book up and running. I want to get the courses up and running and get the certifications going. So that's where I'm starting right now, and I've been working since the beginning of the year to do that. I'm working pretty hard, which doesn't mean anything to you, except I think I have some really cool things that you're going to love. So
Definitely.
So make sure you subscribe to us wherever you're watching or listening to us. Make sure you like us, and make sure you leave us a 5-star review. If you do and want some goodies, you can take a screenshot of it and send it to flippinghousesforrookies@gmail.com, and I'll give you a bunch of goodies. I'm bribing you, yes. That's my ethical bribe. With that said, we're all done for today. Thanks for listening to podcast number 448. And Flourish and Prosper, we'll talk to you on podcast number 449. Have a good week.
This has been Flipping Houses for Rookies. The American Dream. What is it? It's called financial freedom. And with real estate, you'll have it. Without the banks, without the bigwigs, and without the realtors' nonsense. Bill and Pete are 2 real estate investors with 30 years plus of experience, hundreds of deals under their belts, and a mission to change the way you think about creative real estate. Do be sure to like, rate, and review the show. And after that, hit up our YouTube channel at Flipping Houses for Rookies /streams. We'll be back soon, and see you then on Flipping Houses for Rookies.